What is up, Final Fantasy II fans? In this video, I will be ranking all 37 bosses from Final Fantasy II, so let's get right into it. I think I have everything in the right order. I also have Dumian from the Arcane Labyrinth, and I have all of the good old, whatever they're called, Solar Rebirths bosses. And also, I forgot Frekios, but as I tried to put him back, the color would just not match up and it looked so ugly. But don't worry, I'll talk about him. Alright, anyway, let's move into the tier list. So first is the land turtle, which a lot of people wouldn't even consider boss, but I will be counting any like specifically out of place enemies that you fight in treasure chests as bosses. So if you go to a treasure chest and you're fighting an enemy that is way out of your league compared to the normal enemies of the area, then I will be considering that a boss, as that's what the wiki counts it as and stuff. So yeah. Anyway, the land turtle I'll throw in the D tier because you can fight land turtles even before you go to this dungeon if you walk up enough, and you can definitely be powerful enough to beat them if you do a little bit of grinding and all that stuff. So the land turtles was very insignificant. Actually, I lied. D's a little too nice to it. I'm gonna throw an F. I think it's the worst. It's probably the worst quote unquote boss in the game because like you can literally fight. I don't know. It's bad. All right. Next we have got the Sergeant, which is also a boss that you fight, and then soon after you fight the actual enemy, just pretty regularly. But I think that this one is definitely way better than the land turtle because it's actually a story boss. You have to fight him, and you get to fight him so that you can get the mithril. So I will throw the Sergeant in the C tier. Again, it is a regular enemy later, but yeah. Actually, I'm going to put land turtle in E tier. There is one worse. I just remembered. Adamantoise will go in the B tier. I know you fight them pretty soon after, but fighting the Adamantoise... Actually, I'm going to switch these two. The Sergeant's really iconic. As like the first like real boss of the game. Adamantoise is also nice. It's a pretty decent fight at the end of the snow cave. And then, yeah, so you fight it, and as you're escaping, you run into Borgin, who will go B for Borgin. Even though it's a super easy boss, it's really the scenes and stuff after. Actually, no, I'll throw Borgin in A, actually. It's a really easy boss, but like the scenes that follow and the surrounding jazz, all that stuff is pretty great. So yeah, I'll give Borgin the A tier ranking. And then the Red Soul is pretty decent. I will say right below the Sergeant. I think it's a decent boss fight. You have to really use physical attacks to destroy it, and it has more story relevance than the Adamantoise. The thing about the Adamantoise is there's no reason that an Adamantoise really is guarding it. Whereas the Sergeant, like the mithril is being guarded by human. That makes sense. And the Red Soul, you're fighting so that you can get fire on your Eggel's torch. So yeah, I think those two bosses are pretty good. Not the best in the game, but pretty good. All right, Hilgigus, which you can find in chests in the Dice Cave. That's the F tier. That's gonna go in F tier. Oh wait, no, sorry. You find it in a chest in the Dreadnought, and then you fight them normally in the Dice Cave, which is like 10 minutes later. Like, this is really stupid. Like, this is stupider than land turtle. So F tier. All right, the Chimera boss, I'll throw in the D tier. It's just random chimeras guarding the egg, the wyvern egg, and I think that's just super lame. Like, I think there could have definitely been a more interesting boss. So there's that. All right, the Lamia Queen. All right, honestly, I'm gonna throw Borgin up in S because I'm counting his story relevance and all that stuff, and I think that that's one of the best scenes in the game with Joseph and stuff. So yeah. All right, the Lamia Queen will be in the A tier. It's fun. It's kind of goofy that they're trying to like seduct Firin, and it's pretty funny. Yeah, I think it's nice. It's a very interesting boss fight where, yeah, Fioren's getting seduced, it's fake Hilda and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, yeah, you're fighting the Lamia Queen. It's a funny cutscene, it has some goofy music. I might move it up to S depending on how much competition there ends up being, but for now, A tier. Behemoth is also really cool. We're getting Gordon back in the party for another boss fight at the Colosseum, and the Behemoth is just a pretty good boss. Yeah, I like this boss. I like that we get Gordon back, and overall, it's just, again, a really good boss. And it's cool because it's in a Colosseum, and it has a cool background and all this stuff, so yeah. Our next is Gotos, the evil guy who's sitting on the throne of Finn. I will put this guy right here in the B tier. I like that you get to conquer Finn again, but he is kind of just some random dude. I don't really know. I feel like we should have been introduced. Maybe it was, I don't know, maybe we fought the Dark Knight here or something. Just Gotos was kind of random, but other than that, I mean, it was a good boss fight. All right, the Bighorn. Same issue I have with the Chimeras, but less iconic, so I'll put that there in the D tier. You fight them at the top of the tropical island, and it's pretty goofy. Like, it's pretty unmemorable. All right, and then the Roundworm, which you have to fight to get out of Leviathan, I will put in the C tier. Not too memorable. I know Rickard, like, you're fighting with Rickard, first boss with Rickard in your party and all that stuff, but it's nothing too special, and it's really easy, so yeah. All right, the 3 elemental Gigases I will throw. What do I want to do? Okay, I'm going to throw the Fire and Ice Gigases in the C tier, and then the Thunder Gigas in low B tier. And the reason for that is because the Thunder Gigas is one of the few enemies that, like, obviously has a weakness to Scourge, and that is cool. And that's really the only reason. And he's harder than the Ice and Fire Gigases, but yeah, I think the Thunder Gigas definitely is the most fun fight of the 3, and I think it deserves to be just a tier above, so yeah. It's nothing too special, but it's still pretty good. Alright, next, the White Dragon, you fight after the Gigases at the top of Massidian Tower. And if I remember correctly, it's guarding a flare spell? That could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But the White Dragon, I will throw at the bottom of C. That's probably where I'll end up putting most of those dragons. I mean, they're good, but again, you fight them later as normal enemies, which makes them pretty unmemorable and pretty unspecial. So yeah. All right. The Green Dragon is guarding something pretty stupid. It's like an earth flute or something, and again, you fight them later, but since you don't even get a good reward, and that annoyed me, I'm going to put the Green Dragon down in the D tier. Still a more interesting fight than Chimera or Bighorn. And then the first fight against the Emperor. I'm going to put this in A tier right here, and actually, I want to move the Lamia Queen up to S. I just love those goofy cutscenes and the interesting, suggestive music. But anyway, the Emperor is a great fight. I do think he's way too easy in the Cyclone, though. Like, they needed to, like, double his health at least, if not triple it. But other than that, I think it's a good boss fight. It's a pretty climactic moment. I like that he summons a bunch of guards and all that stuff, so it's pretty cool. But I do have some issues with it, and I'd rather be fight. I think the Lamia Queen and Borgin fights are more original than the Emperor, so yeah, I think I'm going to put that in the A tier. All right, then the Blue Dragon. I'll put it right here. I don't remember the Blue Dragon giving you anything too good either, and I don't really care. And I think you fight them. Whereas the White Dragon and the Green Dragon, you have to at least wait a tiny bit to fight. No, the Blue Dragon, it's like the same dungeon. You can fight it later. Well, Jade Passage to Pandemonium, but basically the same dungeon. All right, King Behemoth. At least it's a bit more interesting. I'll still put it in the D tier. You're probably like, why are you putting the King Behemoth in the D tier when the normal Behemoth is in the A tier? And this is just a more powerful version of the normal Behemoth. Because it's in a treasure chest, and there's no surrounding context or anything interesting about it. So we'll put that in the D tier as well. Definitely crowding out that D tier a little bit. Actually, I'm going to start moving a couple things down to E and to F. Just so we have a bit more of a balance here. There we go. That looks a little better. All right. And then we'll move this bad boy down to D. And then we'll put the red dragon in D as well. And then the green dragon in E, because that one particularly annoys me with what drop you get. The red dragon, at least you get the Yoichi's bow, but it's not anything too special. And it's still, yet again, a fight against a boss that you fight like, I don't know, half an hour later tops as an enemy. So nothing too special there. All right, Zombie Borgin. This one sucks pretty badly. Because Borgin just shows up as like a zombie. Heck, I'm going to even throw it right here. I'll throw it in the E tier. I think that Zombie Borgin is a really unoriginal fight. He's just as easy as he was the first time. And yeah, it's pretty annoying. Especially since he's just in a treasure box. With no context whatsoever. So that's really, really unfortunate. Alright. Tiamat, Beelzebub, Astaroth, Iron Giant. If I remember correctly, the Iron Giant you fight as a normal enemy on like the last floor if you're pretty lucky. But sorry, I don't know why I'm doing. So because of that, I'm gonna put this at the top of D. Because it's still cool, but again, it's just a regular enemy. It eventually becomes a regular enemy, which just annoys me in general. But these three will definitely get higher placements. Tiamat is nice. We get one of the 4 fiends from the original game. And I will put Tiamat right here in the C tier. I think it's a pretty decent boss fight, but it's not anything way too original. And yeah. I guess some people say Tiamat, so sorry. I'm going to say Tiamat because I think that sounds better. Anyway, I also Beelzebub now. I love the design of Beelzebub in this game, and he actually is one of those bosses I really do like, actually. So I'm gonna put Beelzebub. I'm gonna put Beelzebub right here. No, right here. I'm gonna move Godos up to the A tier. There we go. That looks good. Yeah. So yeah, Beelzebub will. I'm gonna put Beelzebub right here. Top of B for Beelzebub, and then Astaroth. I will also put in the B tier. I think it's a good boss. I don't think it's as good as Beelzebub, but it's still a good boss. Definitely a lot more memorable than the dang Iron Giant, that's for sure. Alright, the Dark Emperor, aka the final boss of the normal game. Yeah, that's going straight up to S+. Who am I kidding? Really good fight. You get fight with Fear and Maria guy and Leon, and you beat him up and all that crap. So it's really good. Yeah, it's definitely. I might move it down to S. But we'll see. Not sure yet. All right, let's just get a couple things out of the way really quick. I think the reskins that are in the Solar Rebirth for these ones are basically just as good as the normal ones. With Yamato no Orochi, I'll put it above Tiamat because this is just a more basic thing where they went out there with the Japanese like folklore with this one. So that's cool. Steel Giant, I'll put right there. Beelzebub Soul, put right there. I think I like the normal Beelzebub slightly better. Lucifer, I will put right there. All right, there we go. Just getting those out of the way. All right, and then actually, I do want to comment on where I put Frekios. I would probably put Frekios right here. No. Actually, I put Frekios right here, actually. So at the bottom of S tier, below Lamia Queen. So just imagine that Frekios is right below Lamia Queen, because again, I tried to get the colors to match, but I made this a while ago, and I couldn't get the colors to match all the way, which is weird. I used a color picker and all this stuff, but it was always too light for some reason, which was really annoying me, and apparently that extension just sucks because it was not working correctly. But anyway, whatever. Okay, Roundworm, Soul of Rebirth. I will give this one the slight edge over the original one because at least Rickard has a little bit more dialogue. He's like, "Oh, we killed this thing before. Let's kill it again." And that was kind of interesting, I guess. So, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Um, Zombie Borgin in Solar Rebirth actually is pretty nice because unlike awful Zombie Borgin in the original game, Joseph is there and actually gets to comment on, "Oh my gosh, you killed me, so it's time to beat you up in hell again." And then that's pretty cool, actually. You know what? I will actually throw Zombie Borgin Solar Rebirth at the bottom of A tier. I like that little dialogue we get there, and it's pretty memorable, so I do like that boss fight. Again, remember, Frekios is right there, so we still got that nice bell curve. All right, next we've got the Ultima Weapon, which will be thrown up in the S plus tier. This is probably the hardest boss in the game, which is really cool, and it's how you get Ultima in Solar Rebirth, even though I always give Ultima to one of the Solar Rebirth people anyway. So usually I have 2 Ultimas going into the Solar Rebirth, which is nice. But yeah, Ultima Weapon is a pretty good boss fight. I don't really... It's definitely one of the hardest, if not the hardest, and it's just really cool to fight. So yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to move it above the Dark Emperor, but it's just such a fun fight that I do think it deserves to go above even some of the story bosses like Borgin and Lamia Queen and all that stuff. All right, Light Emperor is at the top. No questions asked. Again, Frekios is right there, so ignore that blank space. Anyway, Light Emperor is definitely at the top. It's just one of the best fights in the game, even in the series. It takes everything that's cool about the Dark Emperor, and it shows the cutscenes of your normal party fighting the Dark Emperor at the while simultaneously you're fighting the Light Emperor. So the idea is that you killed him in both heaven and hell at the same time, so he's gone forever, and it is really cool. And the cutscenes are just even better here, and it's just the Dark Emperor, but like twice as good. Honestly, like, it's awesome. It's so cool. So amazing final boss, even better than the Dark Emperor as a super boss and all that stuff. All right, and then last but not least, we have Doomian, which will go right here. I think, and then again, Frekios is right here. I think Doomian looks really cool and is pretty fun to fight, but I still don't think he's on the same tier as... Actually, you know what? I'm going to switch these two. Doomian will go up here, and Ultima Weapon will go right here. Doomian does have the story relevance and stuff. I don't think he's as good as either of the Emperor fights, but he's still really cool. I like that you get to fight him or spare him. I never spare him because that makes so you don't get to fight a boss. So anyway, I really do think Doomian is a good boss fight. Not as good as the Emperor's, but still one of the best in the game because he's still got like that great story relevance, and you get to learn more about him as you go through the Arcane Labyrinth and all that stuff. And again, his little beast Frekios is right here. Anyway, thank you all for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, let me know down below what videos you'd like to see. I'm going to continue doing this for each of the Final Fantasy games. So yeah, here's all the 37 bosses. We'll be back for Final Fantasy 3, which, I don't know, I think there's only like 20 bosses in that game. I can't remember. Anyway, thank you all for watching this video, and if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, comment down below your favorite boss in Final Fantasy 2, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, RPG fans. Thanks to my good man Chemo for being a patron. If you want tons of exclusive RPG content, join now as a patron today.